Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Warriors star Jimmy Butler's appreciative reflection on Heat stint after Miami return. Jimmy Butler's first return to Kaseya Center since he received his much-desired trade away from the Miami Heat did not go according to plan. Butler and the Golden State Warriors were blown out, 112-86, as they struggled to get much of anything going as they navigated Stephen Curry's absence due to injury. And considering how poorly Butler's Heat tenure ended, this must give the Heat brass some feelings of vindication considering how badly Butler burned his bridges with the organization. Butler has played off this homecoming in South Beach nonchalantly, and the Heat fans in attendance responded in kind by booing him. But after the Warriors' defeat, the 35-year-old star forward had something good to say about his time with the Heat, reflecting on it with an appreciative take. "I love this city, the fan base here. Video, tribute, was nice," Butler said. "It took me back to some good times when I was wearing a Miami Heat jersey. I'm very appreciative of that time, to help me become the player that I am in this league, the individual that I am in this league, the teammate, the leader, all of those things. I don't think I could be who I am today without my opportunity here, I'll tell you that," Butler said, via Will Manso of WPLG Local 10 News. Indeed, Butler's legend grew during his time with the Heat. He became known as Playoff Jimmy when he led the team to the NBA Finals in 2020 and 2023, even though not too many people expected that they can make it that far in the postseason given the roster that they had. However, Butler and the Heat did not see eye to eye in contract negotiations, and they found that it was best for them to go their separate ways. And Butler is certainly relishing the opportunity that he has with the Warriors moving forward. When Jimmy Butler doesn't get what he wants, there is a tendency for him to kick up a fuss, which was what he did to end his stint with the Heat. He got himself suspended multiple times and almost sandbagged at times as he begged for a trade out of the franchise. This paved the way for the Warriors to get Butler via trade at a discounted price, and when healthy, Golden State has shown that they can once again be a terrifying team to face. Jimmy Butler warned Pat Riley with stern message amid beef. Jimmy Butler and Miami Heat president Pat Riley once formed a very successful partnership, but their relationship has completely broken down now. Butler has no interest in mending fences either, as he told Taylor Rooks before his first game against the Heat for the Golden State Warriors that he wants no interaction with Riley. "Jimmy told me that he's used to being the bad guy," Rooks said on Inside the NBA. "But I asked him what he expects if he sees Pat Riley, and his response was, 'I have nothing to say to Pat, and Pat better have nothing to say to me.'" Well, hopefully Riley did stay away from Butler. You wouldn't have thought a year ago that things would get this bad between them, but here we are. The first cracks in the relationship appeared when Riley ripped Butler for mocking the Boston Celtics and New York Knicks when he was injured. He wanted the star to keep his mouth shut. Riley then refused to give Butler an extension in the offseason, and their relationship never recovered. The 35-year-old requested a trade from the Heat in January, and what followed was weeks of drama and tension behind the scenes. Butler was suspended thrice without pay by the Heat for conduct detrimental to the team, and you knew his time in Miami was up after the final one. He was shipped to the Warriors at the trade deadline and is much happier now in his new surroundings. The Warriors' success and the Heat's struggles after the Butler trade led to Riley coming under fire for failing to keep hold of the six-time All-Star. You'd have thought that Butler would give Riley's critics some more ammunition with a dominant showing in the game at Kaseya Center on Tuesday, but it wasn't to be. The Heat surprisingly blew out the Warriors 112-86, with Butler recording just 11 points, 5-12 FG, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. It was a very underwhelming performance, and he'd have given Riley a reason to smile in what has been a disappointing season. Despite Butler exiting on such bad terms, it was reported that the Heat would play a tribute video for him. Butler made it clear he didn't particularly care if he got one or not, but would watch it if they gave him that honor. The Heat did play the video before the game, and Butler was asked what he thought about it post-game. "The video was nice," Butler said. "But I won't say there were a lot of emotions." Butler isn't too interested in reflecting on his time with the Heat. He has closed that chapter and has moved on. Butler's sole focus now is on helping the Warriors win, and they are struggling a bit at the moment. This was their second loss in a row, and they have suffered defeats in 3 of their last 5 games to drop to 41-31. The Warriors need Stephen Curry back from injury as soon as possible, and he could feature in their next game against the New Orleans Pelicans at Smoothie King Center on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. For the first time since joining the Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler is playing in his first game at the Miami Heat's Kaseya Center. Despite the conditions of his exit, the Heat gave Butler a full tribute video complete with a highlight of his top moments with the franchise. Butler's time with the Heat was mostly positive, and he embodied much of the culture they were trying to create. So while there are still moments the fans can be grateful for, many of them resorted to boos, believing that Butler didn't deserve to be honored because of how he left the team. Butler's reaction was much more polite. After the video, he stood up and acknowledged the crowd in an intense and emotionally mixed moment on the court. It's no secret that Butler's real problem was with Pat Riley, and he made it clear before the game that he had no desire to reconnect with the legendary Miami Heat president. "I have nothing to say to Pat, and Pat better have nothing to say to me," said Butler. The whole thing started last summer, when the Heat failed to offer Butler a contract extension. At the same time, Pat Riley was criticizing Jimmy publicly after a first-round loss in the NBA playoffs. As trade rumors began to circulate around Butler, he felt unwanted and unappreciated on the Heat, which is ultimately when he decided to cut ties with the franchise altogether. What followed was weeks of chaos and dysfunction as Butler tried to force his way out. He played lifelessly on the court during games and failed to show up on time for team activities. Miami Heat fans likely rejoicing after Scott Foster news. As the NBA postseason approaches, the Miami Heat need every advantage to hold on to its top 10 spot in the Eastern Conference. Well, this news about referee Scott Foster may help. Last week, Foster suffered a calf injury in the New York Knicks' blowout victory over Miami. The veteran official is renowned for making questionable calls across the league, specifically toward the Heat and future Hall of Famer Chris Paul. The biggest example of his rivalry with Miami was in its 2023 Eastern semifinals matchup against New York. Foster made several calls in the Knicks' favor, fueling the theories that he was trying extending the series and halt a Miami sweep. The Heat currently sit at number 10 in the conference, 1.5 spots behind the Chicago Bulls, 32-40. They face the Golden State Warriors Tuesday night, in Jimmy Butler's first game in Miami since being traded. Obviously, there will be a lot of different feelings about it, Coach Erik Spoelstra said about the Butler reunion. "I probably won't express all of them, and that's fair. We had a great 5-year run. We didn't win the title, but only one team does. We had some great moments here. We all get past that, that's what you always remember. It doesn't matter what every feels right now." And you, fan? What do you think about Scott Foster's situation? Write to us in the comments.